Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Jennifer Kirk.
And I'm David Leese. And today we are thrilled to have Jason Brown on the show. Jason Brown is a two-time Junior World medalist. He is also a former Junior Grand Prix final champion. Jason, you just won the silver medal at Junior Worlds. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to be on. I'm a huge fan of you both.
Oh, we're huge fans of your skating.
Yes.
We love you.
Thank you.
So Jason, tell us about Junior Worlds. You actually won the long program there. Take us through the competition. What was the entire experience like?
So it's been, for Junior Worlds, you get the full week. You have 3 days of practice ice before I even started competing. So at most of the junior events, you get there, you have 1 day of practice ice and you compete. And it's like a 30 to 40 minute practice and that's it. So to have 3 days to settle in was great, and to feel the ice and to have practice ices consistently on that session, and with the technical panel watches. So to have them watch throughout the whole thing, it takes a little pressure off when you compete, because it's not the first time they're watching you. And you feel you've performed for them, and it's nice to have them there through the process, because you kind of get used to performing to them, and it feels more like practice. So that was great to get used to that. And the week it's been amazing. That whole week was amazing. And the team becomes so close because you have so much time to bond and get to know each other. So just being on those practice sessions with the other two boys, we became so close, and it just became so much fun. And we loved the team, and it was great, and the whole experience was amazing, and to be there and to have that experience was great.
Well, you skated so well, Jason, and your triple axels in both portions of the event were really right on, stellar. And this is a jump that you actually struggled with for a long time. So how long did it take you to learn the triple axel, and how did you achieve the consistency on the jump that we see today and that we saw at Junior Worlds?
Okay, well, so I started working on the jump, after novice. After I was third at novice, people were starting to ask me about it, because Josh had won novice, and people have asked him about it, and he's like, oh, I've landed it before. And so then they were started to ask me about it, and I was like, I don't know, I only have 2 triples, I haven't started working on it. But then that's kind of when it all started, and then
it was that competitive rivalry that you two have.
Yeah. So then it was more of a the following year, I got my 3 triple Lutz consistent, and I moved up to junior. And that's kind of after I started landing Lutz, we started working on axel. And it was about 3.5 years of working on axel, and people being like, are you doing it next year? And I would be so honest and be like, yes, that is the plan. I want to put it in. I want to do it. And to come back the next year without it, it's hard, because people are like, I thought you were going to do it. And it's in the same way, it's I thought I was too. I really wanted to do it. But I've worked so hard in and out every day. There's nothing that I could have done that I feel looking back at it that I could have sped up the process. And I feel that I just had to be true to myself and just be honest every time and be like, this is my goal. I want to put it in, but I can't put it in if I can't land it. It was one of those things. So with that, it was more of, it started pushing me to work on other aspects of skating. And that's where I worked so hard on my component mark and that second mark. And I worked so hard on making spins and trying to come up with new, integrating new and interesting spins that would get good GOE, and I would get the levels, and that really started being a top priority. Make sure I get my levels, make sure the steps are correct, make sure the programs are look good, and I'm working really hard on skating skills every day. So without having it, I really had to push myself in other aspects of the sport, which I think is such a blessing in disguise, that I had to work so hard in other aspects to keep up with my level and to keep up with the guys that were doing the hard technical jumps. So, but yeah, it was 3.5 years, and my coach Kori, we went all over the place, really went all over the country. Whenever there was an opportunity, she was so open for anything, any help, any suggestions. She it's not that she didn't know how to teach the jump at all, because she totally did, but she just wanted to make sure that she was doing everything she could to help me in any way I needed it. So we did that, and it was one day, it just started getting closer and closer, and there were times where I thought I was getting so close, and then 3 months later, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so close. Like, I'm so much closer than I thought I was.
Yeah.
And it was just one day, it was actually 4 days before I left for the Junior Grand Prix final this year, where like one day I was doing it on the pole with the guy that does it at our rink and in Chicago, and for the first time I was like, wait, you didn't help me. And I don't know if it was like a mental thing, but I really felt like it was me doing the jump. And I got off, and for some reason it just clicked. And I just kept like, and that day it was just funny because it was like I literally did 20, like freaking out, like I didn't want to stop. I was afraid to leave the ice. I was like, I can't get off.
Don't lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I like can't get off. I can't go to sleep tonight. Like I can't wake up. Like, so like that was just really like, it was one of those moments where it was like so exciting, and it was one of those crazy, like everyone was so excited. Everyone had been there for the past 3.5 years, like watching, and you know, it's kind of like they've all experienced it with me. And that was just amazing to do it while they're all there, and to have done it there and show it, and they've seen it grow from the beginning to now.
Wonderful.
And so that is the process to where I landed it. And then just from the consistency part, at the final, it was more, I went there, and to be honest, I was like, I don't know what to expect. I've never gone to overseas with it. I've never really put it in with 6-minute warm-up with it landed. And I didn't know what it's going to feel like in competition, because, you know, things always kind of change in competition. Just the way you feel, the way the jump feels. And so in the short program, I was literally like, me and Kori were just like, let's go for it. Don't hold back. Just do it. Go for it. And you know, I was up in the air. When I jumped, I was like, I'm rotating. Like, I did not know I was going to hit the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on one foot. Like, what's going on? So like, that was so exciting. And it didn't feel like a normal one, but I was like so excited. Like, I didn't really know what the feeling was. And then that was like, in the long, to be honest, I don't really know what happened. I think I like overthought it at that point, because I had landed one. And I was like, you know, I think I was like, okay, I should think more about it going into it rather than just throwing my body into it, like not knowing what will happen. So that was like, and I slipped and I didn't get off the ground, if you've seen it. That's what happened in the long. And then, so from there at Nationals, I started getting the jump more consistent. I had another month to really work on it. And at Nationals too, it was still a jump that it was getting more and more consistent in practice, but it was also like I hadn't competed it since the final. And so in both the short and the long, they didn't feel like at practice, but it was still like one of those, it's feeling more comfortable. Like, it feels more like a normal jump to me. But it was still not a jump where I was like, oh, it feels the same as practice when I took off for it in the event. But then finally at the final, like, it was just like another month that I had to really work on it. And in the short, I went for it, like, it practiced, and it felt like practice for the first time. Like, it felt like a jump that I had, and that it didn't feel like, oh, I'm in competition. It feels so much different. And then it felt the same way through the long. So, and just having that knowledge, knowing that it feels the same way in practice and competition, for it to finally click, you know, I was really excited, and it was a really big reassurance, really, like, it felt really good to go to Junior Worlds and to go with the jump. And just, like, that was, like, winning to me. Just going there and to finally not be like, oh, I'm here with another year at Junior Worlds without the triple axel.
All right, so after the triple axel, the next jump to add is the quad. How close are you including a quad in your program? Are you close? Are you close? Are you 3 months from now close? Like, how close are you?
I wish I could answer that question. You know, like, learning from the axel, it was one of those things where it was just like, I'm not going to put a time limit on it. It will come when it will come, and I'm going to work day in and day out as hard as I can and as safely as possible. The plan is it's going to be in my program no matter what. That's like, even if I can land it or not, we're going to try to integrate it and work on it. I have landed it before. It's not a consistent jump, but I have landed a few, and I have fallen on them clean or stood up on them cheated. It's like one of those, it's starting to come together. And so it is planned to be in at least my long, and that is the goal, to do a quad and 2 triple axels. And that is the plan for the quad. And hopefully I'll be doing it in the summer competitions to get that practice for when it comes and it clicks.
Well, we've seen some videos of it. It's beautiful. And you and your
Yeah.
coach, Kori, recently moved to Colorado. So how did that decision to move come about, and how has that transition been?
Yeah, okay, so it's only been 2 weeks. I've been in Colorado for 2 weeks now. It started, when I was younger, and we traveled a lot in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, we went to Lake Arrowhead for a summer. We've actually gone to Lake Arrowhead almost every summer, at least for some period of time. And we've gone to Colorado. We've gone just different places. We've done different camps, and we worked with Audrey, and we've gone her, G2C camps, and we've just been around different places. And Kori my coach has always been like, we really want, she would tell my parents, we really want Jason to move. I think this is the best decision for him. And my parents would always, she was just saying, I think it's the best. He needs to be in a better environment, just around more people. And my parents have always been like, not until he graduates high school. We really want him to graduate from a public high school, have the skating and then have that other part of my life. And so, I can't thank my parents enough for that. There's there's no regrets in not moving earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when I was a junior in high school last year, we started taking it really seriously. Kori was still are you ready to move? And my parents were like, yeah, he's gonna move. So we arranged my schedule where I was gonna, for part of junior year and senior year, I'd double up on a class so I could graduate a semester early.
Oh.
And so, I graduated in January.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's kind of weird. It doesn't feel normal yet because I'm walking, graduating and walking down in May with the rest of the class.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got it was one of those things where things just kept coming together, and we were like, we're going to try it. We're going to go. And it was crazy because it's been so many years of being talked about, and we're going to move. And
now it's here.
And now it's here. And it was one of those things that it came up to you so fast because I was trying to be I'm not going to think about the move. I need to think about Junior Worlds the rest of my season. And it was a week after Junior Worlds that we moved. So it was hard to push it off, but still think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great, and I've loved it, and it's been a great 2 weeks.
Terrific.
Okay. So what is your relationship like with Kori? I feel Catholic guilt if my coach is coming an hour early to give me a lesson. Your coach is moving across the country for you. I was even told that Kori induced labor so that she wouldn't miss being present at nationals for you, Jason.
That is dedication.
Yes.
It's all true. It's all true. I cannot even put into words. Kori was my first coach ever. It was one of those things where she ended up accidentally. There's 2 centennials in Chicago, in this area. There's one that's in a suburb called Wilmette, and one in a suburb called Highland Park. And she went to go to the one in Wilmette, and I live in Highland Park. So it just started happening that she accidentally went to the wrong centennial. And she was in that, and so she went to the one in Highland Park. Before I knew her. This is all before I knew her. So it just was by fate, I guess, that she just happened to end up at the wrong centennial, Ice Arena, and it was at the one in Highland Park, and started teaching there, and started taking lessons. And my sister actually started skating with a different coach there. And my mom went up to that different coach. Her name was Terry. And she said, hey, I really want Jason to take lessons at the same time as my sister Jordan, my daughter Jordan, if I'm speaking from my mom's point of view. And then she was like, and I just want them to skate at the same time with a different coach just so that we can go in and out. And it was it was just for fun, nothing was serious. And it started with, and she said, how about you go with Kori? And that's really how it started. And then when I was 5 years old, and I started with Kori. And I don't know how she's put up with me for so long. I was such a bad kid.
Oh, no. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Worst, kid growing up. I would, if I couldn't get it, I'd, punch and scream. I'd, kick the ice. Just, but not, kick it, if I miss a jump, I stab the ice. Not, that type of thing. But, I would get upset and I'd literally get on my stomach and, start punching. That was
this
just,
needs to be on video somewhere. Yes. I want to watch this.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but yeah, so it's always been for the past and now I'm 18, so it's been 13. We're going on 14 years of being together, and she wasn't married at the time. She was 26 when I started with her. So it's just so crazy to think that you know, it's like kind of like she's like my second mom.
Yeah, part of her family.
And yeah, and so like when she ended up getting pregnant, she knew that date was just right around nationals as when I was going to be junior, and she was like, I will be there. And I, like, the whole time, like, I'm dying of laughter, being like, Kori, like, my vision is I want you to, like, in the middle of my long program, I want to be skating perfect, and your water break's there. Like, that's
Can you imagine how embarrassing that would
the
be?
best memory. And, like, I'll be in the kiss and cry alone, like, being like, Kori's in the hospital, like, waving, like, wish Kori good luck. I don't know. That's, like, but she was like, her OB at the hospital she was at. She was like, I'm going to nationals, like, we have to make this happen, you know? And the OB at first was like, no, don't do that. But everything was like going well with her pregnancy. And they were like, okay. And a week before nationals, she was induced. And it was like 2 days later after she was induced, or like a day and a half, she finally like gave birth. And she went in on Monday and then came to the rink on Saturday with the newborn. And for like my last practice before I went to nationals the next week.
Wow. Great
Yeah.
story.
So like it's just like what she does for me, and you know, it's been, you know, I've always told her like, Kori, I really don't want you to move for me. She's like, I'm doing this as much for you as I'm doing it for me. Like, it's something that I want to do with my career, and I'm so lucky to have you, you know, and have your loyalty. And like we're such a close team, and we've like literally I like jump on her lap half the time, like snuggle up to her, like she's just like my mom. And I don't know, it's just that type of relationship where I've even like talked and expressed being like, Kori, I really don't want you to put this on me. Like, I just don't want, like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like taking you away or you're like, you know. And it was more of like, no, Jason, like this is very mutual. Like, I want to do this for you, and I want to do this for myself, and you should like, and I want you to do this for yourself. You know, she's like, I don't want any of this to be because of me. Mm-hmm. You know, and her husband loves Colorado, and like was so like, we're so lucky that he was so excited about it. You know, because it couldn't have happened. Like, we wouldn't have moved unless it was for like her husband and her family to be like very supportive about it. And he loves it. Like, he's obsessed with the mountains. Like, this is where he wants to end up. So like, that was really exciting. And that was like, you know, one of those pieces that came together that was like enhanced the decision to move. Yeah.
So many in the Chicago skating scene are very sad to see you move. What is it like really being the star of the local skating scene in Chicago?
Wow, it sounds so weird because it's like I grew up there, so like I grew up admiring so many skaters. Like,
they all talk about you all the time. Like,
thank you. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my, so like, yeah, so it was just, you know, so I like grew up and I was like that little runt that was just like running around the rink, like that crazy one. And I had really shaggy hair all over the place. And I was like in like those like freestyle one group numbers, like when I grew up. And like, that's really what it started. It was like, all I want to do is be in the ice show. Like, I want to be in the ice show. And, you know, I looked up to so many of those people. And as I started progressing, and Kori was like, hey, I'm going to take you to a different rink. So you can like, cause like the rink I was at, it wasn't a competitive rink at all. Like, it was really just like fun. They did learn to skate, like classes, like it was like half skating, half gymnastics. Like, it was just all above, like just really fun, just not a very competitive place. And then when I went to, so then she brought me to the more competitive rinks in the area. And, you know, I started looking up to those people being like, oh my gosh, like they're incredible. Like, this is insane. Like, just being around them was amazing. And to just see that and to have a whole new people, like to know that there are people, like I had no idea. Like, I had no idea there was like another rink. Like, you know, it was just like, I didn't know other people skated. Like, I didn't know other guys were so much like so into it and so amazing. And like, I started skating where there was like junior men, novice men, senior men, even intermediate men, where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is incredible. So it really started like as that. And as I just grew up, you know, I guess in the Chicago area, you know, most people, it's not the most like competitive place, you know, as a whole. When people were seniors, they'd graduate and go to college usually. So, you know, it just started like people more started leaving after senior year. So I don't know, I think I just kept going up, and it was just like I became so close with so many people, and I like loved all the different rinks, and I became really close with all the people there, and I loved meeting new people, and I loved working with the different people, and I loved going to all these different rinks, and there was a time where just because of how the ice time works, I would be at 7 different rinks throughout the week.
Wow.
And there are a lot of rinks in the area, so it was like none were like more than 30 minutes away, but it was still like really became close with like the whole area and the whole like Chicago like skating community, and so like that was really nice. And I think it just like I did the ice show since I was 5, and I'm going home this year to do the final one. Like I'm leaving May 15th for the dress rehearsal on May 16th to be there, and just for the final ice show, and to just do it with my friends. And they've like the skating club and Helen Park has done so much for me, and just the whole community in skating there. It all means so much to me, and their support, and through it all, like through the ups and the downs, and through trying to get new jumps, and through the triple axel, they've always been there, like supporting me through it all. So I really could not have done anything without them.
That's wonderful. And you talk about your move to Colorado, but you're not training at the Broadmoor. So how often do you skate with some of the top U.S. men who train there?
Yeah, so I'm going twice a week.
Okay.
I'm going to the national session on like Tuesday and Thursday for now. I might go more coming up. I might go less. Just depends on, I guess, the week it goes. So yeah, we're skating at this rink that's 25 minutes away, which I love. It's like in Monument, and which is just 25 minutes, like where like in the heart of like World Arena is, or that Colorado Springs area. And I love it, and it's been amazing. It's like the ice is great. There's a lot of ice time, and it feels more like home for me. It's not like a stressful it's not like a ton of people. Like it's low key. I really get to work with Roheen and like work with him and work with Kori. And have their like undivided attention for a long period of time, which I love and which has been really nice.
Well, we talked earlier about Joshua Farris.
Yeah.
And your names are often paired together, recently finishing first and second at Junior Worlds. So what is he like as a competitor, and how long have you and he been competing against one another?
Okay, so I was my first year juvenile. At Junior Nationals, I went as like I was 10. I was 10 as my first year juvenile, and he won nationals, Junior Nationals, and I missed final round by a placement.
Aw.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it was kind of funny story because I also did pairs back then, and we missed final round by a placement too.
Oh,
So like it was like
double whammy.
At the time I was like devastated, and I was like sad, but like looking back at it, it's just like a funny memory to have, and I think it made me work so much harder, and like I got to see what the juveniles were really like, and they had double axels, and I was trying a double axel that wasn't really landed, so to be around there. And the next year he moved up to intermediate, and I think he ended up somewhere in the top 10, and I won juvenile. And then the following year he stayed intermediate, and I moved up to intermediate, and we got first and second. And then we both moved up to novice, and he got first and I got third. Then we moved up to junior, and I won and he got second. And then it's been senior, and the past 3 years have been senior. Yeah. So it's and just Junior Worlds, like second and third, and then this year first and second. And just flip, and like at the final, the 2011 Junior Grand Prix final, I won, he got third. It's always like, and I think it's been really great to, there's someone going through the same things you are. And, during the competitions, you don't really talk with your competitors as much. It's more of like, you do your thing, he does his thing, you're focused, you're with your coach, and then you get on the ice for your practice ice, you get off, you stretch, you kind of leave, you do your own thing. You either some people like to walk around the cities, some people like to go back to their hotel room and rest. And so, yeah, we really haven't, and it's been really great. It's really fun to experience that with someone. And I think we both have like a mutual respect for one another and really admire what the other person does. There's so many things where I'm like, oh, Josh, like, this is so amazing what you do. Like, I love this part of your skating. And he's like, oh, Jason, like, I love this part of your skating. And we like once did an interview together, and it was like we kind of like bounced back and forth on each other, being like, you know, because it's not something you really talk about that often. You're not like, oh my God, I wish I did this, or like, oh my gosh, I wish I did this of yours. So it was just like a great, you know, that was a really fun time to like just talk about it and have those comments. But yeah, it's been great, and I think it's cool to grow up with someone and to, you know, just compete against like, and I think it keeps you. And to have it from being the U.S., you know that you're going to compete against each other again. Mm-hmm. So it's a great like way that it pushes you, and it pushes you to work harder, and it pushes you to, let's just say, like in all different ways. Just know that like it's not something that you're going to be like, okay, this event you're not like you don't think about it like that. You know, for the rest of my career, it's going to be most likely I'm going to compete against him, and we're the same age, in the same levels, and I think it has been really great, and I don't think there's never been a real downside to it. I think it's really just been like you push each other, you learn from each other, you grow, and I think, you know, different people grow at different times, you know, and so I think, yeah, that part has been cool to like have someone and see like, you know, the same type of careers happen at the same time.
Well, it's wonderful that you guys get along so well, and I'm sure when you're going back and forth about what you love about each other's skating, he must say that he loves what we all love about your skating, your edges, your skating skills, and of course your flexibility. You have flexibility that makes women jealous. Like, you can lift that leg up. I was watching your tapes and I thought, my goodness, if I could only have that flexibility into my triplets. But I want to know, is this something that just comes naturally to you, or is it something that you started training on at a young age?
Okay, it's a kind of funny leeway. Okay, so I started I was never flexible. Like, one of the most inflexible person, like couldn't do anything, like, and then I went to junior nationals as a juvenile, and Josh did these Charlottes and these Bielmans. And he won, and that's kind of like where I started like being like, ooh, I need to stretch, like I need to get into it. And it was just one of those other things where no matter if I get on ice success, off ice success, that was something like I was striving for. I wanted to be flexible. And that kind of became one of my goals. You know, even if I didn't have a bad day, if I had a bad day on the ice, you know, I'd get off the ice and I'd be like, I'm going to work on my stretching. Like, I'm going to get like a centimeter lower in my splits. Or like, I'm going to like do 5 minutes more of stretching to get like, to feel more flexible and to work on that. So it has been like since I was like, I think 11, I started really focusing on the flexibility. And, you know, Roheen started coming in, and he wasn't working with us at the time, but he started, he came in to Chicago, and I think that started when he started to move, he moved from Minnesota to Chicago. Mm-hmm. And I started seeing him skate, and like, he's so flexible, and like, it was like one of those things where it's like, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, I want to do that one day. And I think it started to becoming something I really wanted to work for and work towards. And it's something, it's one of those goals that you can feel accomplished every day. Mm-hmm. And it's something like, yeah, you see the progress and you feel the progress. And still, like, every time I like do the splits or I make up a new spin, I'm like, you know, you just feel that like, wow, I worked so hard for the past 7 years to get flexible and to have that flexibility. I'm still working on it to this day. But yeah, and it's something that I love to do, and it definitely makes me feel like good when I skate and to be able to have less restrictions in what I can and can't do.
So in addition to your skating skills and flexibility, you're also known for your hair, Jason. Garrett Kling actually told us that your coach Kori took a poll at nationals one year asking if you should cut your hair or not. Have you ever had short hair?
Okay, so when I was little, it was more of it went from short, like when you're younger, it's just short hair, and it kind of like I grew up slowly, and I liked it shaggy. Like, I was like, for some reason, I really liked it shaggy. Like, it was all over the place. And when I was like pre-Juve, judges started coming up to Kori being like, hey, we love Jason's hair, but it's really becoming distracting. So we'd love you to either cut it or grow it out. And Kori, and like, I just remember this day so clearly. I was crying because I was like 7, and I was like, I don't want to cut it. I like it shaggy. I like it shaggy. And Kori's like, And at the time, Kori didn't tell me like I'd have to put in a ponytail. She was just like, then you'll have to grow it out. And you know what? If you grow it out, you can always cut it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's kind of what I did. I grew it out, and then it was like, I want to say like 6 months later, Kori was like, hey Jason, so you're gonna have to start putting in a ponytail. And I was like, what? You didn't tell me that? No. Like I was really against it. I remember like one day, like I locked myself in the bathroom. Like I'm telling you, I was not the best kid as when I was little. But yeah, so I like locked myself in the bathroom. I was really against it. And then we did this one competition in St. Paul, and I'd never been there. I knew no one there. I was like a pre-juvenile. And and that was the first time I was like, fine, I'll do it this once. You know, like I don't know anyone. No one's like, I don't know if I was like, I bet I was just worried about people judging me, people being like, oh, you wear like a girl, like, oh, and that has totally happened so many times. But, you know, I've learned from that and I've grown from that, and it's like taught me so many different things about so many, like, it's like one of those things where it like makes you not judge people, and it makes you not, you know, I've been on the other side, so I know what that is like. So it's opened my eyes to so many other things. So like, but yeah, so I wore it up for the first time there, and I don't know if it was like I really liked it, or I liked that it wasn't in my face, or it just started like being like, wow, I can see when I skate, or wow, like I don't have to like wipe my forehead after I land a jump. So that's when it really started, and I've kept it ever since. And it kind of just became who I was. And it was one of those things where like I wasn't known as Jason, I was known as the little boy with the ponytail. And it just like became one of those things where like if I ever seen someone, they're like, oh, I've met you, like you're the kid with the ponytail, or like, oh, do you remember me, like, you know. And it started becoming like people started knowing me by that. And definitely when I grew up, like started growing up, I was like, there were times where I was like, do I want to keep it? Do I want to cut it? And, you know, there's that fear, like, what, like, you know, I don't want to go through that phase, that awkward phase, like, where it's too short, like, to be down. I mean, it's too long to be down, but too short for a ponytail. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not, like, it's one of those things where I don't really want to go through that phase. So I feel like if I cut it, it will be cut for good, more or less, at the moment, just because I don't.
You can always do extensions.
What?
I said you could always do extensions.
Like, maybe I will. Maybe that's what I'll do. We can't tell anyone though.
Okay.
Like maybe I'll like cut it and then I'll get extensions, but no one will know that it's cut.
Right. We can call up Andre Agassi and he can give us some tips about wearing big hair.
Sounds good. So yeah, it's really started there, and then I became more like maybe I should cut it, and thinking more about it, and that's when we were like, fine, we're gonna do this. Like Kori was gonna do it, and it was actually at PSA at the coaches seminar. It was like it's like the international coaches seminar, or the elite coaches seminar. And so Kori like did this poll, and I was there because I was demonstrating, and it was in Dallas, and I was like, okay, like, and it's, you know, it is exciting to be like, ooh, I might cut my hair. You know, it's definitely that exciting. It wasn't like, no, please, no. You know, I wasn't feeling like that. So the poll started, and we got all these slips, and it was literally like, there happened to be 21. There were like 21 things, and I got through it. I like added them all up at like by 20. Like, I don't know why it ended up this way, but they were even. And I flip over the 21, and it was like, I want you to do whatever makes you happy.
Oh.
Which was so nice, but it was like, no, like, this is like, that was like, it was like even. I was like, oh my gosh, this is killing me. So it ended up that like, it was 2020. Or man, it was like 10-10 with one. And like, I mean, there were a few that were also like, do what you want. Like, I'm like, you should do whatever. You know, there were a few like that, but it ended up that the cut and the don't cut were equal. And that it just like the last one I flipped over said, like, do what you want, like, do what makes you happy. So like, that was just like, it was one of those, okay. And I don't know, I haven't, and that phase kind of like, I'm going to cut it kind of went away more. And I just haven't, I don't know. It was just like Roheen brought it up once and was like, hey, for this program, I think you should have short hair, like a while ago, or like, I want you to have a style. And I was like, and I think that's when it really started. And then when I didn't do that, the next year, the hair worked for the programs. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kept it, and we haven't really talked about it since, like, as much. But yeah.
So many in the skating world have referred to you as a mini Roheen, referring to your choreographer, Roheen Ward.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started working with him? And you appear to be like one of the nicest, happiest skaters. You really don't seem real. Like you're not Jenny Kirk. Like she was not BFF with Joshua Farris and the other baby ballerinas. Like that was
Jenny
not happening.
was amazing. She was
Yeah,
like my role model growing up.
They weren't like going for coffee together or painting nails. Now, Roheen is known for being one of the most outspoken, eccentric skaters to ever hit the ice. He famously said that Alexei Mishin had nothing to teach him. So how do you two connect on the ice, and what is the process of creating your programs like with Roheen? Because these are just two personalities we really want to watch connect.
Yeah, and to that end, do you have a secret competitive streak? Because you have to have something in you that, I mean, you're so nice, but like Dave says.
With him or in general?
Just in general.
In general.
I think what has been really like, you know, I haven't ever, you know, since I was little, like it's been 18 years where I haven't been in an intense competitive environment for long periods of time. I haven't, you know, my parents are so not in the skating world. They don't know a flip from a Lutz. Like they don't know, like the only jump they know is an axel because it takes off forward. Like there would be days where I'd go in and my mom would be like trying to like, and it's not that she doesn't like coming to the rink, but I also have, I'm one of 3. So I think just having, you know, I'm so close with my family and I've always been in public school and I've had that. And, you know, I've been so close with my family and my parents are so out of the sport, kind of like they're not in it at all. They've never pushed me. They've never been like, we want you to do this. It's always been like, whatever, we want to support you in what you want to do. Like even to this day, they're still like, if you ever want to quit, if you ever want to come home, like we are totally fine with that. And I've been really fortunate that my siblings haven't had to suffer or they haven't, because of me, nothing has been taken away from them. So I think that's also like really big. Like I don't have that pressure of like, oh, if let's just say, because Jason's moving to Colorado, my sister, let's just say like has to take a year off of college or like can't go to the college she wants or can't, so that's been really, I've been really fortunate to have that. And I think having that balance and having that, for me, it's like all drive for me. And it's because I love it. And it's because like, this is what I want to do. And, you know, Kori, for so long, we do this thing called TAPS, which is like, she calls it Total Athlete Performance Seminar. And so she does this, it's more like sports psychology. And, you know, she's like very open about everything. And since I was little, she's always treated me like not as an adult, but as someone like I can take, like, this is a decision that you can make on your own. And then we can talk to your parents. You know, she wants you to be in charge and know that, like, if this is what you really want to do, you should express that to your parents. Or if this, you know, and being very open in that way. So, like, for, like, even, like, a week before I left for Junior Worlds, we had this, like, we do it, like, almost weekly. Like, when, like, the school year picks up. It's kind of like every Saturday. Or this year it was, like, every Saturday. And she kind of pushes you to, like, she's just saying, like, know that, and it's like with a big group of people, like with her students. And so like the most recent one, she was just saying, like, no matter what, like, I'll support you through anything. Like, if you want to do this and you tell me I need to do this, like, she's going to back you up. So we got in this big debate being like, it was like one of those, like, it was a great, like, fun, like, I mean, it was fun because it was just like a fun, you know, debates, or just depending on who you are, they're fun, or who you're with. So I was like, Kori, like, I'm confused. Like, you're telling me that because like Junior Worlds were in Milan, I was only going to stay 2 extra days, and we went to Florence instead of, let's just say, my parents are saying, do you want to stay longer if you want, because we're out here and it's the end of your season. And I was like, no, I'm going to take 2 extra days so I can come home, get ready to move and leave. And I was like, and Kori was saying, like, I want you to do whatever you want, you know, and like not being like, you shouldn't do that because you think that's what I would want. And it became one of those, I was like, wait, are you telling me you'd be fine with me going for a week? And she was like, yeah, I'd have no problem if you want to do that. That's what you want to do. And like, and then I left there, like, kind of frustrated, like I was like confused, like did I make the wrong choice? And it, then it hit me like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it because that's what I want. Like I want to leave, like I want to go for 2 days. Like that's a great, like I want to get home. I want to get ready for this move. Like I love to do this. And I think just having that, never being pushed and never having that pressure. And she always tells me like, I'm there for you through it all. Like we are going to experience lows and we are going to experience highs. And no matter what they are and what they're going to go through, I'll be by your side supporting you through it all. So in that sense, I think just having that background and having that support from home and having such an amazing family, I think for me, I think that's such a huge part of who I am. And I just like appreciate so many things. And to be out here just like every day looking at the mountains is just like makes me smile. Or like, I take a jog around and it's just so pretty. And so I think that's like one of those things that I don't know. It just like, it makes me really excited to be here. And I love to train and I love to push myself. And yeah. Okay. Sorry. I kind of got off topic.
No, it's wonderful. I have another question because it's the Olympic season. It's coming up. So what are your goals? And Dave and I, we loved your Can't Touch This program. So have you started picking music? What are your plans for next season for programs and your Olympic goals?
We're definitely, me and Kori have been talking about like a 5-year plan. And that 5-year plan ends at Korea. And we're not saying that I don't want to go further. But it's more of like we're gonna set a 5-year plan because when I'm 23, which will be at the 2018 Olympics, that is like kind of like when the men peak. Like that's some peak later, some peak earlier. It's always different, but that's kind of like we're talking about like 5 years. Like that's the goal. Sochi is definitely in that plan. I mean, we're not being like, we're gonna just go for the 5-year. Like we're definitely thinking about it. Definitely. I definitely know that I need to have a quad in my program to reach that goal. And US Figure Skating has made that clear, being like, you need to have at least a quad in your long, like a consistent one. If and they've said that, and I know that the guys that I'm gonna compete against, like they will have quads, and that's something I need. So it's definitely if I can. My goal is definitely if I can skate 2 clean programs at nationals and in the long I have a quad, I want to be on that Olympic team. And that's definitely something. And, even if it doesn't work out, the whole year I'll have that mindset and it will carry me through the next Olympics. Like I'll have that experience of this is what it's like competing as a senior man at an Olympic season, like where they're going to decide who goes to the Olympics. Like I'll be able to have gained that experience. So no matter if I make it or not, I'll have and learned and grown from that year and that season.
Wonderful.
So it's definitely a goal that I really want, and it's definitely something that I'm not pushing off.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We are such huge fans of your skating. We love talking to you. And thank you so much, Jason. We are going to be cheering for you. We want you to send us videos this summer of your programs and send us those quad videos. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much, guys.